Hi guys, and welcome back to Flipping Motors UK. I wanted to start off by showing you how the lovely Seat Leon has come up. Okay, in the background it is a 1.6 TDI. If you haven't seen a previous video, £20 tax, and it's the SE Copa model, which does come with quite a few nice little extras. The last video, it clearly hadn't seen a jet wash or any polish for a very long time, but now I think it's fair to say it's come up lovely after a quick go off with the machine polisher. Plenty of tyre shine, and the interior, well, I'm not going to lie, it took me absolutely ages. It's probably one of the worst I've done myself without giving it to someone else. Had the wet vacuum and a scrubbing brush on the go. Fresh set of mats as well. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but I tell you what, I think I've done a cracking job there, if I do say so myself. Fresh set of number plates. Made a really, really nice car out of this one. Inside, all the plastics are nice and clean. Do you remember how dirty the clocks were? You could hardly see them. But I think I've done a great job here. I mean, don't get me wrong, yes, there is some minor stains still on the seats there. But overall, that's just my protective mat I use in all the cars. But it's got the feel of a clean car. It's got the smell of a clean car. I think someone's going to be really happy with this. We've actually got someone on the way for this car as we speak. Someone on one of my social media platforms. Any cars for about £2 grand? Well, I'm just about to go and picture this Leon. What do you think? Yeah, sounds perfect. Can't see why she won't have it. So we'll see how that one goes. In the meantime, I've got another car I'm going to have to go and buy locally off a friend. So I'm going to go and get that sorted now. Get this thing up. Well, I've took the pictures and that just in case I don't take it, but I think it looks $1 million. If you spend just under £2 on a family car, I think this would tick just about every one of the boxes. It is off. Leon sold, just drove off, and here is the latest car. The Volkswagen Passat 2-litre TDI. It's a 56 plates and about 136,000 miles, I think it is. As always, down cut wheels are a bit scabby, as are the front wings. We have a little bit of damage to the front repeater, but it still works. VW quality, eh? Number plates definitely need replacing. More scabby, fairly touched in wings here, whatever you want to call them. They're not the prettiest, but, well, there's no holes in them either, is there? There's a bit more life left in them, you could say. More dents on the back quarter. More damage to the wheels. And the car is filthy, it needs a very good clean. And probably a machine polish as well. 2-litre diesel. You can smell that. We finally have a decent quarter. But again, the wheel does need some work. All the brakes and that look alright. We have 2 keys. I did buy it and have to jump start it. I literally just drove it back here, so I didn't really want to have to do anything else with that. The boot I've opened up off here because I've unplugged it, as you can see. This is all apart. The boot doesn't always like closing, so I'm going to see if there's a fault with potentially the latch or the switch that you open it with up here. Okay, so we'll be having a little look at that shortly. Not even open. Get in it. I've had the boot down because I was having a little look in here. It needs a good clean, but it's a fairly tidy car overall. Inside anyway. Look at this. Like a Rolls Royce. You've got a little brolly in the door card. I don't know if that's meant to be there, mind, but there we go. All the windows seem to go up and down. Bonnet opens a little bit stiff, so I'll probably get that looked at. Get smooth radio turned off. Look at this. Ideal. V5, get that covered up. But it's an automatic. Look at that. That's a selling point with this car, and I can tell you what. Oh, there you go. It's done less miles than I said. 125, and it's got half a tank of fuel. It drives really well, actually, I'm not going to lie. I haven't drove it far because it does need to go in for an MOT. It hasn't failed on one, but we're going to have to see what it needs and go from there. But I think I've got a good buy with this one. It was only 300 quid. So, I mean, even if it fails its MOT miserably, I can't see how I'm not going to get that back. But yeah, I think I've done all right with this one. We'll see what it needs for MOT. Get the boot sorted, a couple of minor bits. It definitely needs wipers because these are. Oh, that's even worse. Absolutely useless. Before we go any further, so the Seat Leon, it wasn't my best profit ever, but I did all right off it. So what happened is, paid about 1,130 quid for it. Got it here and all, it was about 1,150. I had to do 2 front wheel bearings. I got them done at separate garages because I thought one was going to cure the fault, but it didn't. And what else did we do to it? It had a couple of bits on it. I can't remember, to be fair. It had obviously had a good valet, fresh set of number plates, and I think it had the pad sorted as well because there was a brake pad wear light on. Like I say, the valet took some doing. I'm absolutely knackered, to be fair. Yeah, orders about, I think it was 1,475 in the end. I was going to put it up for 1,995, so not a bad profit, not the best, not the worst, definitely. I had much worse this month. Sadly, it's a tough market at the moment, but put it on one of my own socials, and so my message was saying my mate's desperate for a car. She's been sold one by a garage, and I think it had all sorts of oil leaks, and then there was oil mixing with the coolant and all sorts. £2,000 needs a car. I says, look, well, I've still got the Corsa, still. I've got the Mini, which is not going to be ready for another week. That's going to be 1,750 quid. And I've got this Leon. I'm literally in the middle of cleaning it now. It'll be good to go this afternoon. Nice and clean. I was going to put it up for 1,995. So she come down, looked after them, and I says, look, we did a deal at 1,900 quid. So I've made about just over, I think, well, 425 off it I've made, which isn't too bad. And I haven't even had to advertise the car. One thing you might be surprised at is the C-Max still hasn't gone. It's only £1,000, that car. I can't seem to shift it. It's had timing belt, water pump, full history, MOT. Someone was going to have it, but they complained because there was some bottom arms advised on the MOT. I says, look, he says, have you done it? He asked if I'd done them. I says, well, no. And I mean, for £1,000, seriously, what do you want? You're probably not the person I want to be selling this car to, because it's done 140,000 miles and it's 16 years old. It's not going to be perfect. If I did every advisory on £1,000 cars, I'd be the world's poorest businessman. But yes, the Leon's gone, and I want to show you a few other bits on this Passat now. So I've just took it round the block there, around the corner for me. There's a very, very bumpy road with some large units. Took it down here and there's not a single noise on this car at all. So I'm really happy with how it drives. The automatic gearbox, I thought it was, I mean, we all know the new DSG boxes are super, super smooth. This one here, I've just put my foot down a little bit, and I tell you what, it's a lot better than I thought. I thought it was going to be a bit more old school, a bit slower on the gears, but I tell you what, I'm really surprised with that. There's only one thing left we need to do before we get this car sent to the mechanics, and that is to plug it in and have a little look with the topped-on JS600S. Let's have a little look. So we need to do a little code read. I have upgraded my little plasticky £20 reader, as I have been sent out this beauty from Topped On. Let's get it all unboxed and have a little look, see what we need to do. So first of all, who are Topped On? If you don't already know, they send a lot of different diagnostic equipment over to the UK, including code readers of various shapes, sizes and capacities, and jump starters and that sort of thing. Me personally, I already own a Topped On. I've got the jump starter, which is, it's a JS2000 I've got, which is absolutely superb. Does the job perfectly. It's light, it's compact, and I think you can get up to like 20 different jumps off one single charge. You can charge your phone off it. Really good piece of equipment. It's only about 55 quid. But now we're going to test out the diagnostic equipment. Like I say, thank you so much to Topped On, who have got that sent out to me to do a bit of a review, see what the thoughts are. and it's a nice replacement for my little, I don't even know what it was called, to be honest. So let's see what this top done brings up on our Passat B6. There we go, so I've made my account with TopDon and I've connected to the Wi-Fi on my phone. So let's have a little look, see what we can do on here. So you've got your diagnostics on there, so you can pick all your different brands. European, nice and easy to use, nice easy swipe. And we've got Volkswagen, it's automatic. You can read, you don't have to input the VIN manually. It's found the VIN, confirm. It's a Passat, that's a one. It's not the US model, it's 2007. Or 56, that's about right, isn't it? And then there's several different things we can do here. So we can do an auto scan, gateway scan, control unit, vehicle profile, repair information, which is really, really useful. So if you're having a look on there, you can do things such as engine idle learning, adaptation of the EGR valve and throttle, steering angle position sensor. That's really handy actually, because this car, like I said, when I first got to it, it had a flat battery, so that light was on. They don't always go off straight away, so then I'd have to do this, wouldn't I? Basic settings for the transmission are also available. ABS system, coding for new airbags, deactivation, activation, instrument panel coding, service light reset, replace the brake pads. So that's if you need to wind back like the rear brake calipers, an adaptation of the fuel level sensor, adaptation of the battery. I know some cars, so my BMW over there like that, when you put a new battery in them, oh, we'll get the right zoom here. There we go. You do have to adapt the battery, so that would be really handy if I did ever have to replace that. Auto scan, we'll see if it comes up with anything. There might be a few codes because of a boot, which does keep opening behind, which is really frustrating. And then also the lights came on because of the battery being flat. But we'll see if there's any more codes on it. The car seems to drive fine. There's certainly no warning lights as you're driving it, but we can't be too sure of that. So apparently on brakes there's a fault. All the others seem okay. On the airbag, gateway, parking brake. Apparently there's a coupling engine there as well, so we'll have to have a little look, see what they are. All-wheel control, I don't believe that'll have anything on it. And then it's just got the parking brake left to do. Like I say, they're really, really common on these Passats. And I'm lucky that this one's actually working. Okay, so we're 71% of the way there. 3 DTCs found so far. Let's have a look on the engine, see what it says. See if we're going to have to be spending some money on this Passat. Maybe have to wait for it to fully load first. We'll have a little look. I don't know if we've got the brakes we need to look at as well. Yeah, so that's all completed now. Engine, if you go on there, so I want it to read the DTCs. So something about the turbocharger boost sensor circuit A, ignition distributor engine speed. So there you go, you can connect to Chrome and search for any faults on there. So what it's done there is, if I excuse me before I accept the cookies. So if you go on there and it searches that code and it puts it into Google, and then you can have a little look. So it's engine speed sensor. It is also used as a reference sensor for the crankshaft position and correlates with the camshaft position sensor. So that would indicate potentially a timing issue if that was a fault. Let's have a little look. So you've got your data stream as well. So you've got your advanced measure. So that's everything from your wheel speed sensors, brake warning lights, steering angle sensor, brake pressure sensor. So if you've got your foot on the brake light switch. So that's currently saying off. And now I've just put my foot on the brake, it's saying on, so we know that's working fine. No faults coming up. Transmission ones. More steering angle sensor, airbag, parking brake, distance control, so it'll be like your parking sensor. I don't think this car actually has them, to be honest. So you can pick which channel as well. My hands really aren't very good for stuff like this. But luckily the top don is quite responsive actually. I'll give it that. And then we've just got these ECM faults that we want to have a little look at. So by that, you go straight to your data stream. So you're having a little look, it checks the quantity of the injectors, engine speed, accelerator position sensor, coolant temperature, it's currently 80 degrees, which seems to be about right looking at the clocks. Is the EGR blocked? Is that working? I don't think this car has a DPF, but it does read the DPF too. And what this little 600S does as well is it actually does the DPF regeneration as well, which is pretty handy. I've just turned it off. What have I done? Excuse me being rough. So you can check all your injectors on there. Vehicle speed, we're currently stationary, so it's 0 kilometers an hour. Cruise control, is that working? Fuel temperature, intake temperature, coolant temperature. There's a few bits for the DSG there. Mass airflow, engine speed, glow status, so your glow plugs, are they working? Are they doing their job? Cylinder deviation tests. Fuel consumption. There's so much on here. So not only is it these modules with the faults, there's obviously all the different ones here. So for example, the parking brake. Where was it? Data stream. Read data by channel advance measure. You can see if it's working, what's working on it, and you can do the checks to make sure that they are actually doing what they say they are as well. Bit about the ECU. But if we go back here, confirm. If we go on to repair information, say we go on to see if we can find a parking brake. Look at all these different systems. So you've got the adaptation there, so that's if you're doing rear discs and pads. On one of my recent videos I put something about doing the rear brake discs. I can obviously only do for ones where you wind back the calipers. How about a lot of the modern cars? I mean, this is a 56 plate and the wind back. What do I do now? There you go, topped on. Straight away. I don't want to do that now, but it's going to do the... I'll go back. It'll do the reset there. You've obviously, if you don't like the touch screen, you've got the buttons on the side there as well. You've got an on-off button on the top. I think that's an absolutely fantastic tool for any workshop, any car trader like myself, and I really would recommend one. Okay. Online, they're not expensive. You're not looking anywhere near the cost of like a Snap-on or anything like that. I will attach the link into the bio of this video. Honestly, if you're after a cheap diagnostic tool, I wouldn't think twice about it. My little 20-30 quid one, it's done me all right. It does the engine codes and it can clear them, but it can't fix them. This topped on, not only does it tell you what it needs, it'll also guide you and show you what you need to fix your car, as well as doing things like your DPF regeneration, your resetting of your brake calipers, and also all your different tests for the batteries and injectors too. Okay, so hit them up, topped on. Make sure you're buying it off the right people. I'm going to also put a link in for the GS2000 the jump starter, which is fantastic because there is a lot of people, but you'll always get the best deal through topped on, and obviously the best customer service if you do need them. They do come with a warranty as well, and also you've got the free updates for a year as well. One thing I did forget to mention, that is the mid-range diagnostic tool. So if I do a cheaper one as well, I think that's about 60-70 quid. That one is a portable one that you plug into your OBD and you can scan through your phone. The 600S is a mid-range one. Again, have a look at the price. You're not even talking hundreds and hundreds of pounds for this. It's an absolute bargain. I found from my own personal experience similar tools to be 500 quid. You're talking to get anywhere near, but the topped on absolutely smashes them out of the park. And like I say, I was after one of these anyway, so thank you very much topped on for that. They're still here. They are still here. Like I say, this car is £1,000. I will make about £150 profit on this, and I've got people asking me about advisories. For goodness sake, they don't even make a noise. I'm not being funny with this, am I? £1,000 for a car with full history, space for all the family. It's clean. It looks... It's a really super tidy car. I'm not being greedy, and I'm certainly not being picky by not wanting to do the advisories on this car, am I? I mean, for goodness sake, it's... I think it's a lot of car for the money in the Corsa. It's had a little bit of interest, couple of no-shows. But I know this will sell eventually, Corsas they always do. It is the right price, 1995 for a 13 plate with 92,000 miles. Doesn't really have much in the way of history, but it's a nice tidy car. It's the SXI. It's a 1.2 for the lower insurance. You often find for the Corsas as well, if you do get something like a 1.4, it's just that little bit too much for the insurance, so people are put off by them. Same with the Fiestas and Polos. But these 1.2s, they always fly out. Me personally, I'd always want a 1.4 for that bit more power, but for a first-time driver, you've obviously got to be very careful for insurance. BMW haven't done anything with this yet. If anyone knows anyone that could potentially code the new ABS module in this for me, let me know. I am based in the northeast. Be nice to get this sorted. Perfect time for winter. Get the roof down, eh? But for now, it is just my office. If I want to have a sit down in here, the BMW is my working spot. Really good about the Leon. That moved so quickly. I genuinely didn't even have to advertise it. I'll probably put it on my page anyway, so you guys can see it. The pictures that I did take. And... obviously lets people know how busy we are. We do want to get these gone by the end of the month. That needs to be gone. That needs to be gone. And I want the Mini prepped at least as a bare minimum. We've got 8 or 9 days left. I think that's not totally unreasonable getting these two gone. I'm surprised that's still here, to be honest, focused, especially in that nice colour as well. The pictures are spot on. Does it look too good value for money? I don't know. But like I say, I don't think I'm being unreasonable saying an 08 plate car with 140,000 miles in super condition needs an advisory-free MOT, does it? That's not right, is it? I think I'm right on that one. Let me know if not, as always. And it's always nice to hear off you guys anyway, so if you have any questions, queries, feel free to drop my page on Facebook. A message is LCCS Trade Cars Darlington. All right? I know there's a few of you have messaged me saying you're looking into flipping a few motors yourself. If you are, don't get me wrong, I'm no expert, but I can answer your basic questions, or at least tell you how I did it. Absolutely loving it at the moment. And now we've sold the Leon and the Kia Ceed that was in the last video. That sold very quickly. We need to try and get out and buy a bit more stock as well to get them replaced. The Passat's a little cheaper, we'll get that done in the background, but it'd be nice to get our teeth into some nice retail cars. Okay, so I'll catch up with you all on the next video. Hopefully won't be waiting too long for that. Thanks as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye bye.